The market hasn't really changed a lot. I guess, during the first 3 months of the year, we've had, the Chinese New Year, which, really affected, a couple of vessels that were coming out, predominantly on the import side of our business. A couple of vessels that were coming out that were pretty empty, affected the pricing. The pricing during that period also drops for the FCL component, and obviously it goes into the LCL component. But there haven't been any major challenges. I guess, the transits from Europe are still an issue due to the Red Sea debacle that's happening at the moment. But all in all, it's running pretty smoothly. We're seeing that the transit times are now getting to a level where they were prior to any of these, wars and Red Sea issues. So overall, it's going okay. Right now, we're sort of seeing a little bit of the shipping line's trying to increase some pricing with general rate increases, but the market's still a bit soft heading into the end of financial year. The market's always soft, so I don't think that the increases will be implemented at those levels that the shipping lines expect. But overall, both import, export, air freight, sea freight, everything's running pretty smoothly at the moment. Listen, there's always trends. I mean, the trends at the moment, is these new chassis IT programs that you can click and view where your goods are all over the world. I mean, these things are great, but it's not for every customer. But a lot of forwarders are promoting the fact that we can offer you something that other people can't, where you can track and know where your cargo is all over the world. That's great. Why would you be paying a freight forwarder if you have to track your cargo? Isn't that their job? So at ISS, we track your cargo for you. We tell you where it is. We let you know if it's running slow, or if it's going faster, or if it's arriving on this date or that date, or we've got to ship it on this date if something's delayed. We do all that for you. So, these trends will come and go, and, we've also got a system that if someone requires that type of service, we can do that. But, overall, that trend will come and go, and like a lot of other trends have happened. I mean, another trend that's happening at the moment is, shipping lines are now buying planes and offering warehousing solutions. It's putting a bit of pressure on us, medium to small size forwarders, where, we can't offer a service if we don't own our own plane, or if we don't own our own ship, or if the warehouse is leased, or so on. In saying that, we can offer every part of that service, not just under the one roof. So that's, I guess, a trend that, a lot of the shipping lines are now looking at doing, all the other components in the logistics chain, which we can do, but not under our one banner. Supply and demand, there's ebbs and flows all year. Everyone understands that leading up into the crazy peak season, Christmas period, space is tight, vessels are full, airlines are packed, people are flying all over the world to get to, hotter places. We all know in the industry which time of year is a period where we need to be on our toes, and leading into the Christmas period is always busy. And I've been in this industry for 30 years. It's never changed. Pricing goes up from August or September onwards. Vessels are full, airlines are packed, and customs are running slow. So that's just normal. And then you head into the new year, where generally staff go on holidays, both from the freight forwarding point of view and also the customer point of view and the end consumer, I guess. So your January period's fairly slow. Then we head into Chinese New Year, end of Jan, beginning of Feb, and China stops for 10 days, the whole world stops for 10 days. So that period then, leads into, the end of financial year here in Australia, which is traditionally people are looking at what they're going to do in their next financial year. So shipping slows down and so on. There are ebbs and flows on everything, and it seems like every year we have the same components. I guess we've had some crazy years previously where some of this has gone out the window, but there was reasons why that occurred, where borders were closed and things like that. But right now everything's running pretty smoothly. Everything's back to normal. This period leading up to the end of financial year is steady. Our customers are pretty much doing the same amount of work they did last year and the year before. It's pretty chilled. Nothing, as I said, has really changed. I guess there's been some positives coming out of China, where some tariffs have been lifted on, some of our produce, particularly the wine industry. I mean, China was our biggest importer of wine, and There was 300% tariffs on our wine, where now the tariffs have been lifted from, I think it was 1st of April or something, end of March. So now we can also export some live seafood and other commodities that had some very large tariffs to China, which has now really opened up the export market. We've noticed a lot more inquiries in regards to some raw materials and other products going, scrap metal and the wine industry. We've got a very strong relationship with our Chinese partners where we do specialised warehousing and distribution of wine, which is a specific commodity that you need to understand, and have special licenses in China. So it's given us a bit of a kickstart to this slower period in the year. But we're very positive. The air freight and the sea freight export side is now really cranking up, where it's sort of been on a, I wouldn't say downward spiral. It was plodding along as just another part of what we do, but not at a very high level. Some of the concerns that we have is, the industry in general is seeing a lot of companies, looking at downsizing their workforces, which sort of indicates to all of us that there's a slowdown in the market. That's a bit of a concern, particularly when you're talking about some of the bigger companies where 5% of their workforce could be 1,000 people. There's also some concerns in regards to customs clearance. We've got an ageing workforce where the average age of a licensed customs broker is in their late 50s. We need to rejuvenate some of that and bring in some younger people into that space, because without that you can't deliver anything. There is some concerns. The positives is there's a lot of younger people coming through our industry in operations and marketing, and we recently brought on a 30-something-year-old national sales manager with a dozen odd years experience. It's good to see this new younger breed of people coming through and really enhancing what we've already got in the business. My son Stephen has become the general manager at 30 years of age. I've been mentoring for the last dozen odd years, and Dave's moved into an operations manager's role. Our manager in Melbourne is his early 40s as well, and Lyle, as I said earlier, is in his late 30s. So we've got a good bunch of younger to sort of middle-aged, just a tad over teenage, middle-aged employees that can really help us grow our business and take it to the next level. They've all had a dozen odd years experience in our industry, and not just in one particular part of it. They've all gone through and done imports, exports, sea freight, air freight, clearance, delivery, bit of warehousing. So they've got a good understanding of the core of the business, and that will allow us to grow the business even further. What advice I'd give to people in the current market regarding shipping their goods is there's been a big push to get the pricing up. The pricing has dropped to a level, particularly for the FCL part of it. The air freight is pretty steady at the moment, but for FCL inbound, not outbound, so imports from overseas to Australia, the pricing levels are fairly low. And I think the shipping lines are really trying to, increase that over the next 2 or 3 months leading into the peak season, because you can't just drop $1,000 a 20-footer in August or September. So there's got to be a period where they're trying to increase the pricing to get it to a certain level, so then they can meet their strategic pricing around that period. So if you're looking to do anything right now in regards to both, air freight or sea freight, I would try to get it in prior to the end of the financial year, because I think leading into that July-August period, there's going to be substantial increases, which is a traditional thing leading into the peak season, September, October, November. If you're looking to do something, get your orders in right now. It normally takes 4 to 6 weeks to make any product, and if you can get it out prior to the financial year, the cost of your imports, particularly on the sea freight import side of it, won't be as dramatic as what the cost will be during that, I believe, during a July-August period.